Rich Rising, and welcome back to the Hip Hop Hammock. Does Chris Brown has a classic album? Chris Brown recently announced that he has a new album on the way entitled 1111 that will be released on November the 11th. Emanny, friend of the Joe Budden Podcast, R&B singer, said,
Chris Brown have a classic R&B album.
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
The one with all the hits on it. That early one with all the hits on it. I don't know if it's not graffiti.
The first album?
What was his first album?
With Yo, excuse me, Miss Running.
I think that might be his closest to a classic.
I might be talking about that one.
All right, his first album. Okay.
Either that or the second album.
For the output that he gives, I would like to get something a little shorter, a little more cohesive, and EP'd by somebody with a direction to take the album somewhere. His albums play like playlists at this point. I just think he's a better artist than that. I don't want a playlist.
For those who don't know who Emanny is and may think that who is Emanny to be giving these kind of opinions? Well, Emanny is an R&B singer himself, and he can really sing. His voice reminds me a lot of Neo. He has worked with Joe Budden, Jadakiss, Royce 5'9", just to name a few, and he has his own music on DSPs. Here's what he had to say about Chris Brown.
What's that?
I said, I'm not trying to hear another Chris Brown album right now. I said it with reason, though.
What was the reason?
I don't want to hear 20-something songs from him no more. I want to hear a classic from Chris Brown.
I'm with you.
I want to get 10 to 12 songs of his finest moment, maybe executive produced by one person, so we can get an actual classic out of him.
Well, this album is 11 songs.
And then when I found that out, I said, I like it.
It's titled 1111.
I like that.
And it comes out on November 11th.
In my opinion, his first album was his best album to me. Had Run It, Say Goodbye, Give Me That, Poppin', He Ain't Me. That was a great debut album for him. Also, I liked Fame, and I also like Heartbreak on the Full Moon. So a classic album. So let's break this down. Let's talk classic album. What is a classic album? A classic album is something that creates a moment in time. It's a body of work that is also good, and it can take a life of its own. It's everywhere, and you can't stop it or deny it. And the majority of the people will take to it. And you can feel the response. It's going to dominate the charts. It will start conversation, and it will be consistently recognized, and it will deliver blockbuster results. So if that's the definition of it, then Chris probably doesn't have a classic as of yet. So with that being said, has Chris Brown ever had that moment? I'll say no. If you want to listen to urban radio, you would think so. Chris Brown surprisingly has only 2 number ones, and that's Run It and Kiss Kiss. His highest selling album is his second album, which is exclusive, and it has sold 4.5 million copies to date. His second best-selling album is Fame, which has sold 3.3 copies to date. And that is the only album, and that's the album that he won his first and only Grammy.
And the Grammy, it goes to
Chris Brown.
Thank you. First and foremost, I just gotta thank God for this opportunity and thank the Grammys for letting me get on this stage and do my thing. I don't know, man, I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. Team Breezy, man, it's all for you, man. All my fans back home, I love y'all. So, we got one. Thank you.
So let's break down what Emanny said earlier. He said an album that is EP'd by one producer, one person, so that it can have some type of direction. So let's give you an example of some albums that had one executive producer. Michael Jackson Thriller is a classic. It was executive produced by Quincy Jones, winning him 8 Grammys in one night. That album has sold 66 million copies in just the United States. Unheard of, and the only album that has done that. Prince's Purple Rain, which was produced by Prince because he's a singer, songwriter, and a producer. That's a classic. It has sold 20 million copies. R by R. Kelly is also a classic album. It spawned the hit I Believe I Can Fly, taking the album sales up to 7 million copies sold and winning him 3 Grammys the year that it was released. Usher, Confessions sold 1 million copies the first week. It has now sold over 17 million copies in the United States, and it is EP'd by Jermaine Dupri. Most classic have producers attached to them, such as Justin Timberlake to Timberland. And with the type of talent that Chris Brown has, there's no reason that he shouldn't have a classic album, being that he has top tier talent.
End of the day, I want a classic. I don't want to just hear a playlist album no more.
And to answer your question, I don't think he has a classic album.
I don't either.
I don't
think he has good albums.
He has great albums.
Yeah, but I don't think he
couple
has a
good
classic.
ones, but I don't think he has
if
a
you're going to submit,
classic.
then I don't think he does either. But we were supposed to argue.
Chris Brown just dropped his first single for his new album called 1111, and the new single's called Sensational. Get in the comment section and let us know what you think about what Emanny said. Do you think that Chris Brown has a classic album? Do you think that his next album, 1111, will be a classic? And how are you feeling the new single that he dropped featuring Davido called Sensational? Like, subscribe, hit the bell here. It's the Hip Hop Hammock. Peace.